Sham and Jana, thank you very much for joining me. And you are from Sakura Games, and we've met before the last time we were in Jordan. So, first of all, can you tell our PocketGamer.biz audience a little bit about your own background in the games industry? I don't know who wants to start, but what is the journey that Sakura Games has been on? Where did you start, and how have you got here?
Yeah, sure. Well, we're happy to share this with BGC because it means a lot to us. And like since we started like the conference and all the sessions and the people, the community that was we were part of, like meant a lot and like affected the journey. We started by being journalists, honestly, which is very surprising to hear. But since we were kids, our father encouraged us to try new things so that we know what we're passionate about and discover like our path in life. So we tried a couple of stuff. We were like, okay, can we work with you? We just emailed a news agency and we started working in journalism, then went to voice acting. So our voices were part of many cartoon series or like documentary shows in Arabic. And when we learned games development, Jenna was so interested in programming. And let's say like she introduced me to the technology world where I became interested in 3D art too. So when we were like, okay, so now we know how to create content, we know a bit of audio design and stuff, and now we know how to make games. Why not making these games educational? Because we were in school, we were struggling in school, and we knew how like kids do unfortunately suffer from the systematic, modular, rigid curriculums. There's no fun, no interactivity. So we started in 2017 with the idea of creating entertainment games and working on that. We were so happy and we had this passion. We want to change the world by these educational games. And we made many prototypes and worked with a couple of companies. And the impact we've seen always made us so happy to continue, do more, and create more games. So
the first game that you did, was that, am I right in thinking that that was a kind of a words and numbers game? You were teaching people about language and counting through. Yeah, that what was it called?
Crimson.
Right.
I wish that was the first game we made.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Okay.
So, it is not
it was the first game that was able to be presented because other prototypes were often. Yeah.
Well, that happens. You have to practice, don't you? Jana, how did you get into programming then? It sounds like you were maybe the first of the two of you to discover the gaming scene.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I've always been into computers and technology, and while Sham enjoys speaking with people and being a journalist and being a huge extrovert, I enjoy staying and being with a device. So like ever since I was, I don't know, like 9, I was looking for programming tutorials. I was playing games. I was trying different things. I was like making websites, also very bad websites. Then I joined a programming course, learned a couple of languages, HTML and CSS, and web development languages, and also Java. And then I decided I like coding with an interface like Unity way more than I like coding without seeing any results. Like it's more satisfying to like be able to script something than see its results immediately.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Game development.
So are you still making games now? So what are the pair of you working on now? I guess you're still studying. What are your kind of current projects?
Well, we're working kind of separately now, but we're still making games. I'm working with one of the biggest gaming companies out there and really enjoying my work with them.
And Shan, what are you working on right now? Are you still working in games, or are you studying at the moment?
I am studying and working on games. I've been working in a couple of projects. I joined a company and we worked on a couple of games together. And I'm now in Istanbul. I moved last year and I'm studying computer engineering in one of the oldest universities in the world, Istanbul Technical University. I learned a third language and I met a lot of inspiring people, which are in a way contributing to the way and the feel of our games and the games we're working on. And it's very interesting that we've tried many fields and we loved doing games. Like doing games is something we want to do all the time, and maybe voice acting and voiceover. But like throughout the years, games was the thing that we want to do all the time and we enjoy doing, either it was educational or like just for fun games.
So your company, the game studio that you had is Sakura Games. What do you think made your game special? Was it your educational angle?
When we started, I believe in 2017, like we were from, like there was a lack of edutainment content. There was the lack of content in Arabic language.
Right.
And even like when you look in 2017, the mobile games, like the amount and the content of the mobile games was different. The concept of 3D and interactivity in games, especially in the region, wasn't that much. The fact that we started when we were still in school, and the fact of the studio being founded by two females in a males dominated let's say industry or field made Sakura special. And like we're grateful to see that today in 2022 there is more awareness about the importance of games being an educational tool. As after COVID and after we stayed in houses, we believe that okay, kids can learn through online things. They can learn through online games, which made a huge difference. So we're really proud to have been started early and like worked in games and educational fields.
Now that's really interesting, and I want to come back to talk a little bit more about the games market there and how it's changed. But before I do that, let me just ask you, both of you, what is the most important lesson you've learned while you've been working in this? If you had like one lesson that you wanted to share with other people who are on the same path as you, what would you say it was?
Well, we found out that patience is really important, especially in our industry. Like making games isn't easy. And you have to have a lot of patience to get through the hard times. And it's like a bit of a risky industry. Like you don't know for sure that this is going to be successful. So you can work on a game for years and then it could fail. Right. And you could have tons of bugs and have to spend weeks fixing them. And it really requires a lot of patience. We have learned that through our journey here.
Particularly since it's only the two of you making a game, I guess every time you want to add a feature or change something, you have to be prepared to spend the time on it, right?
Yeah, and actually this is one of the things that are unique about our studio. We take pride that we were able to produce good products, or at least good enough products with a small team.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you had to give advice to somebody who was thinking of doing the same thing, another person in a similar situation to you, who said, I want to make games, what would be the piece of advice you'd give them?
Adding to the patience point is that when you're starting out, it's okay not to understand things. It's okay like to feel like you're not really getting this. You don't understand what this does and this doesn't, and it's okay to just be following tutorials and writing code after someone, because it's not easy. You don't get it overnight. It takes time and practice, tons of practice. And you can be working with a software for like a year and then realize, oh my God, this is what this does. Like I've had many moments of realization like this over the past 5 years I have been in the industry.
So let's talk a little bit about the Middle East region, and Jordan is particularly where you're from. Of course, now Sham, you're in Turkey right now, but but the region that you're familiar with. For the whole region, I mean, COVID-19 was a strange couple of years for everybody, everywhere in the world. We weren't able to come to Jordan in 2020 as planned because of lockdown. How did Jordan change during the pandemic? I mean, did the games industry survive well those last couple of years?
I believe now there is more awareness about the industry, although unfortunately we still don't teach game design and games development in universities that much. There is more interest from youth to like start being game developers and work in the industry. And we've seen in the last, like, let's say 2 to 3 years, many people are more interested in becoming part of the industry and learning more, working in the field of games, which is really interesting to see people choosing to be creators, not only consumers, because it's unfortunate that even when we in the Middle East create games, we usually create them with other languages, or like we make them in English. So I'm very happy to hear titles in Arabic for games that are for fun from our culture, that have like, you can see that there is characters that you can like belong to or feel that, okay, these people can represent me or not. So it's really interesting to see the change. And I feel proud like that the industry in MENA region is growing and people are becoming more interested, and there is more awareness about it being as a job. Maybe if you came, I don't know how many years ago, and told someone that your kid is going to be a game developer, they won't believe it. I mean, we have this mentality of a doctor or an engineer. In a worst case scenario, you can be a lawyer, but then
or a failure.
Yeah, but now there's more interest in working in games or technology, and maybe there are a few, I'm not sure, courses from universities in the field of game design and development, which we hope like them to increase and have full curriculums that teach these subjects, because they're as important as other technology fields, that they're as important as networking, as computer science and computer engineering. Creating games can not only be part of computer engineering or computer science, it can be a field on its own, and you have a lot of stuff to teach in there. So
yeah, absolutely. I think also people are realizing now that the games industry, you can make a lot of money in the games industry as well. You know, it's a genuine career path for people. But what are the big challenges in the region that the games industry still has to overcome?
I guess even though some things changed in the pandemic, the challenges really have not changed much. Like there's still a lack of fund, a lack of support for the games industry, and there isn't like a dedicated community for it in Jordan.
Okay, interesting.
Like you can't go to a website and find all the game developers in Jordan.
Right.
You have to, like, it's, you know, about developers through word of mouth.
That sounds like there's also opportunities there. I mean, what are the big opportunities in the Middle East for game development right now?
I think there's more room for serious gaming now. Like after the pandemic, people have started understanding that yes, games are not useless. Games are not just a waste of time, and they can be used for really good things. They can be used to teach things, to improve skills, and even non-entertainment games have their own value in growing like teamwork skills and stuff like that.
I remember when we first used to go to schools to present our games, teachers were like, no, that's, technology is bad, like all days. And they're like, no, what if kids forget how to write their names with a pencil? What if they got so used to this technology where they can't leave the smartphone or the smart device? And now, like after COVID, they know that, okay, there are platforms. Now you have to present a class online where you have to make it fun and interactive, maybe by a game.
Yeah.
So as much as maybe the gaming industry, one of the industries that didn't suffer much from COVID, maybe many companies raised and like became very, very successful when COVID. So there was a room of improvement in that field too.
I think you're right. And the global games industry grew during the COVID period, but in a lot of territories, like in Europe, it's kind of reached a plateau, but it still is growing in the Middle East. I think the Jordan and the surrounding region are the fastest growing region for games. Do you have any advice for somebody coming from Europe or America who wants to discover more about the games industry in Jordan and the Middle East? What should they do?
Yeah, I
And
would
Rocket
love,
Gamer.
Oh, well, thank you.
I would love to say that localizing games for MENA is not only a language. Like if you want to make a game, I would love to see more representation for characters, for environments. I mean, more like I wish we can see good representation of the region and the culture. I'm mad at Disney because they they represented MENA, or let's say the Arab world, in a bad way in Aladdin. I mean, we have a lot of beauty and there are many stereotypes that I wish are broken. I've never seen I didn't see bad representation for Arabs in games, but I wish I can see good ones.
Oh, right,
I wish I can see characters that look like us, wear like us. And it's very interesting that in the MENA region, although we speak one language, but we have many accents and many differences. So like to see more things that are targeting areas, or like considering and keeping in mind how diverse the Middle East is going to be awesome. Like I wish, like when I'm playing a game that is targeting MENA region or is targeting people who are speaking Arabic, that it can has diversity as we do in the region. One other thing is that we learned with time that game feel is something that is very important. It's not an advice for people who are coming from Europe to the region, but it's an advice in general to people who want to create games. For a long time, we were focusing on the technical part and just dedicating time to be good when it comes to the technical part and make it efficient, working well. But it took us time to learn that it needs to feel good, and feeling good, it's just studying how to make this game to make the player feel relevant and entertained while they're playing the game. It's just like when you're applying for a job, only technical skills they're not only required, you need to have soft skills. So in games you need to focus on the game feel and the story as much as you focus on the mechanic and the 3D art. If you have a good art and a poor mechanic, it won't work. And if you have good mechanic and good art, there's no feeling, there's no idea, there's no story the game is telling. You might be lacking something that's very important to the success of the game.
I do appreciate that it's very easy to talk about the MENA region as if it's one place, but it's so many different territories all the way across, and everywhere is distinct. Absolutely. What about things like blockchain or the metaverse or this kind of thing? Are you looking at those? Are those interesting trends or taking things in the wrong direction?
Exactly. They're amazing. Honestly, I'm so happy to be part of an industry that can just change so fast and be that flexible. Like when the NFTs were when they first were talking about, everyone was like, okay, I love how games can accommodate many industries inside. Like with games, you can educate people, you can teach people, you can when it comes to as you mentioned, these we can say these are other fields that can be part of games too, which is very interesting. And I wish we can see more of this in the region. I didn't see a lot of companies working on that globally. Like it's not that popular now, but it's going to be the next trend.
Okay. I hope you're going to come to Pocket Gamer Connects in November. What are you looking forward to about being back at live conferences again? What are you hoping to get out of a live conference like PGC?
Wow. I was at Gaming Istanbul last week.
Oh, great. Yeah, no, I couldn't go, but I heard it was great.
Yeah, it was great. The fact that I've witnessed the gaming scene in Turkey was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There was gamers all around with their costumes and cosplays, and it was amazing to see like the excitement of people, and we're finally face to face. I missed like seeing people and connecting with people, attending attending sessions, and being around like people in real world. And you just miss that. We want to see each other again. We want to talk about games face to face. So we're looking forward for BGC in Jordan, as really it was a huge part of our career, of our story. Like when we were presenting Crimson in the competitions and participating, talking to people, and being
winning
part of the competition.
Twice in a row.
Yeah, it was really nice, and we're looking forward for the next one.
Yeah, we're looking forward to catching up with all the people who we met for the first time ever at PGC and haven't talked to in years. So that's exciting.